Hello, good evening, everybody. I am Dr. Subodh Purohit, Member Scientific Committee, Vidarbha Ophthalmic Society, and coordinator of this today's webinar. I would like to welcome all the viewers, all our speakers, and welcome our Honorable President, Dr. Shirish Thorat, sir, Secretary, Dr. Sriram Lahore, uh, Chairman Scientific Committee, Dr. Shamik Mokadam. Friends, financial management is not about managing money wisely, but it's also essential part of your successful life and stable life. In this August gathering, I know that nobody is Anant Ambani and nobody is son of Mukesh Bhai. So अपने को अपना ही care लेना पड़ेगा for our management of our funds. So today we have got eminent speakers from for Vidarbha, Dr. Parag Tapre sir, Dr. Manish Tote sir, and Dr. Prachi Revanwar sir, who will be giving us insight about fund management, stock markets, and uh, mutual funds. So I would like to request our Honorable President, Dr. Shirish Thorat sir, to welcome everybody by his words.
Thank you, Subodh. Good evening, friends. On behalf of VOS, I welcome you all for this important webinar of wealth management. Friends, in general, doctors are poor businessmen. They are bad negotiators and they are worse investors. In first of half of our life, they spend their health in earning the wealth, and in the remaining half of life, they spend their wealth in earning their health. So, to strike this balance, we need some guidance. And today we have our own members to guide us. I'm sure everyone will get something out of everything. Without wasting much of time, I'll request Dr. Shamim Mukatam, a chairman scientific committee, to have a few words, and then Dr. Subodh will take over the function.
Thank you very much, President sir, and welcome to all the speakers, especially Parag Tapre sir, Prachi madam, and Manish sir. Thank you very much for giving some time to discuss about wealth and management of wealth for us. I'll hand over the mic and the proceedings to Subodh sir to carry on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman Scientific Committee, Dr. Shamik sir, and Honorable President, Dr. Shirish Thorat sir. So today's first speaker, I would like to say, is a neonatal surgeon. His special interest, he has mentioned that endurance in sports, and he has mentioned some triathlon and marathon, but I know what it is because it is completed 7 Ironman in India and outside. But today we are having him here for financial education. So his interest is to teach the finances to the fellow doctors, and this is a great opportunity for everybody to learn from him. So over to Dr. Parag Tapre sir.
Thank you, Subodh sir. Thank you, Shirish sir. Thank you, Shamik sir. And Shyam sir. I will share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Yeah, okay. Myself, Dr. Parag Tapre. I'm a pediatric and a neonatal surgeon from Akola. And I really like to thank all the participants of today's webinar, Vidarbha Ophthalmic Society office bearers, organizers of this webinar, for this wonderful initiative of wealth management or financial freedom. You can call it as a basic investment course, you can call it. But it's a very important thing, and which Shirish has rightly pointed that we are not very good at it to start with. But today we are going to see how to go about this wealth management. So this is a 3-part kind of thing. First part, I will do some introduction to the basic thing, and for the nitty-gritties of how to select a good mutual fund and good shares and ETF, we are having 2 more speakers. So from this is a wealth cons typical darkness to light and ignorance to knowledge. And we all 3 speakers, 2 of them are ophthalmologists. We are representing the WealthCon, and this WealthCon India is an educational platform. And we do not provide any financial advisory. It is this is a typical disclaimer for our each and every program that we are not a SEBI registered financial advisor. All the investors are recommended to do their own research, and the examples, metaphors used here are for the illustration purpose only. So let's begin. with this today's program. So this is a community of doctor, and I have mentioned here there are 70,000 plus doctors who have been benefited by this program, but this figure is some 6 months old figure. So now more than 80,000 doctors, all from all walks of the life, those who are MBBS and above have benefited by these programs. So it's a financial education drive for the doctors by the doctors. So today's program, we have our aim is to have a passive wealth creation. How to create the wealth passively, and a financial education. We do not deal with tips trading. जो कहते हैं ना कि किसी ने कुछ बता दिया, उसको स्टॉक ले लिया, बेच दिया. We are not dealing with that. We are not dealing with intraday, penny stocks. We are not dealing with any stop loss methods. We are not dealing with the crypto. And today's program is not for trading and charts reading. We don't have any conflict of interest. It is an educational program. And I request all of you to be a swan. Don't judge anything. Those things which we want and which you think that good for you, take it from this program. If you don't like it, leave it. Because swan, you know the swan, it is a mythological creature. If you mix milk with water, it will drink only milk. So you also drink milk and leave the water. So objective of today's program is, at the end of this session, we'll be able to understand the importance of financial education. You know the avenues of investment and wealth creation. You'll be able to select mutual fund and shares yourself. Believe me, if you go through this program carefully, you'll be able to select good mutual fund and shares yourself. And you will understand the impact of direct plans of mutual fund on your return and how to invest in a direct plan. So let's begin this journey. This is a standard definition of WHO regarding health that Shirish has rightly pointed out regarding health and wealth. So it is a complete physical, mental, and social well-being, we all know. But I will like to add a fiscal well-being. If fiscal well-being of a doctor is not good, then his health is going to have a major impact on it. So, as somebody has said, health is a function of your participation in life. Those who want to participate in life, they are healthy. So, at the same time, wealth is a function of your participating market. If you want to create a wealth, you have to participate in market, and how that is going to be done, we are going to see it. So, before going further, we'll like to see few myths of a financial education. Like money is not important. This is a myth. But whatever important in life, that will require money. Money, पैसा सब कुछ नहीं है, लेकिन कुछ भी खरीदने के लिए आपको पैसा चाहिए. Again, second myth is rich people are bad. कहावत है कि पुराने जमाने में जो भी पैसा कमाता था, बस उसने गलत तरीके से पैसा कमाया होगा, ऐसे ही समझते थे. लेकिन अगर रिच पीपल अपना टैक्सेस नहीं भरेंगे, तो ये सब सब्सिडीज एंड सब कुछ अपना देश नहीं चल सकेगा. सो रिच पीपल आर नॉट नेसेसरीली बैड. अगेन वन मोर थिंग इज देयर कि शेअर मार्केट ना सट्टा है भाई, सट्टे का काम है, हम लोगों को नहीं करना चाहिए. ही आमची एक मिडल क्लास मानसिकता आहे. दिस इज अ मिडल क्लास मेंटॅलिटी ॲट आवर प्लेस, दॅट शेअर मार्केट इज सट्टा. बट लेट मी टेल यू, अकोला, अमरावती, यवतमाळ, बुलढाणा किंवा कुठे नागपुरात सुद्धा लोक कुठल्याही गोष्टीवर सट्टा लावू शकतात. बट इफ यू टेक शेअर मार्केट ॲज अ बिझनेस, so it will not become a satta. And how to do this business, we are going to see. Again, one myth is finance is a difficult subject, but let me tell you, आम्ही 7व्या वर्गातले मुलं डॉक्टरांची, त्यांना सुद्धा फायनान्सचे ज्याला म्हणतात की एबीसी आम्ही त्यांना शिकवतो आहे. तो 7व्या वर्गातले विद्यार्थी जर शिकवू शकतात, आणि आता तर सीबीएसई ICSE सांगितलं आहे की दिस फायनान्स शुड बी इन्क्लुडेड इन देअर करिक्युलम. सो फायनान्स इज नॉट अ डिफिकल्ट सब्जेक्ट. फक्त आपल्याला लक्ष घालायची जरूरत आहे. आणि काही लोकांचं म्हणणं असतं की इट विल रिक्वायर अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम टू ट्रॅक द इन्व्हेस्टमेंट, बट इट विल नॉट रिक्वायर दॅट मच अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम, विच वी आर गोइंग टू सी हाऊ टू ट्रॅक अवर इन्व्हेस्टमेंट ऑल्सो. किती पैसा जरूर आहे, हाऊ मच मनी इज इनफ, बिकॉज अदरवाइज काय इज द लिमिट. बट मिनिमम इज अॅन्युअल एक्सपेन्सेस गुणिला 20. सर फॉर एक्झाम्पल, तुमचे वर्षभराचे एक्सपेन्सेस 10 लाख रुपये गुणिला 20, तुमच्याकडे लिक्विड ॲसेटमध्ये 2 करोड रुपये असले तर यू आर अ वेल्दी पर्सन. So that must be money will be enough. So annual expenses multiplied by 20, that is a wealthy index. आता आपण फायनान्शियल एज्युकेशन जरुरी का आहे हे सुद्धा समजून घेऊया. On the left side of the panel we have a 95% club, and on the right side of the panel you must be knowing all this 5% club, all the Adanis and Ambanis and Tatas and Birlas. So if you want, तुमको आम जनता रहना है या कुछ अच्छा करना है, it is up to you, because you know that 95% क्लब के पास में अपने देश का 20% पैसा है, और जो राइट साइड में 5% क्लब है, इनके पास में 80% वेल्थ है. वो क्यों है? बिकॉज ऑफ फाइनेंशियल एजुकेशन और फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी. सो वी आर गोइंग टू सी व्हॉट आर द मेन पिलर्स ऑफ युअर पर्सनल फायनान्स. आपल्या पर्सनल फायनान्स पासून सुरुवात करूया आणि नंतर मग आपण पुढच्या गोष्टीला जाऊ शकतो. पण यू हॅव टू स्टार्ट विथ युअर पर्सनल फायनान्स. देर आर 6 बेसिक पिलर्स ऑफ युअर पर्सनल फायनान्स. त्याला म्हणता येईल टॅबलेट ECTIL, ESITIL. दिस इज निमोनिक, अर्निंग, स्पेंडिंग, इन्व्हेस्टमेंट. आपण टॅक्सेशन आज घेणार नाहीये, पण इन्शुरन्स आणि लोन बाबतीत आपण काही ना काही माहिती घेऊ ब्रीफली. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, तुम्हाला जर इन्व्हेस्ट करायचं असेल, तुमच्याकडे पैसा आला पाहिजे. पैसा येईल कुठून? वी आर फॉर्च्युनेट इनफ that we have an active income, because being a professionals, all of us are earning our money. आणि शेअर मार्केटमध्ये तुम्ही कितीही जरी विचार केला, काही जरी केलं, पण तरी तुम्हाला तुमचं अर्निंग आणि तुमचं जे बेसिक आहे ते सोडायचं नाहीये. सो दिस ऍक्टिव्ह इज फ्रॉम युअर वर्क, फ्रॉम युअर प्रोफेशन, अँड वी हॅव टू क्रिएट अ गुड अमाउंट ऑफ पॅसिव्ह इन्कम. अँड शॉर्ट फॉर्म फॉर दिस पॅसिव्ह इन्कम इज ROYAL. रेंट, इंटरेस्ट, डिव्हिडंड, ऑथरशिपचे राईट्स किंवा लॉंग टर्म कॅपिटल गेन. If you want to create a long-term portfolio, you have to create a long-term royal income in your kitty. And semi-active, if you are managing some others' money, if you are managing people, if you are in a managerial post of a system, then you can have a semi-active income. But we mostly concentrate first on active income or profession, which is the primary, which is most important. And on the basis of that money, you can create a passive income. How? We are going to see. Second thing is spending. एक पार्किन्सन लॉ आहे की नो मॅटर हाऊ मच मनी यू अर्न, यू आर टेन टू स्पेंड एंटायर अमाऊंट अँड सेव्ह लिटिल. फॉर एक्झाम्पल, जर तुम्ही विचार केला की बाबा मी महिन्याच्या शेवटी काही पैसे राहिले तर ते मी सेव्ह करेल, ते सेव्हिंग कधीही होणार नाही. म्हणून ज्या दिवशी तुमचा पगार होतो, ज्या दिवशी तुमचा टेक होम मनी असतो, त्या दिवशीच तुम्हाला डिसाईड करायचं आहे की यातलं 20% सुद्धा कमीत कमी मला सेव्ह करायचं आहे. तरच तुमचं सेव्हिंग होईल, तरच तुमचं कॉर्पस जमा होईल, तरच तुम्ही मार्केटमध्ये जाऊ शकाल. सो टू स्टार्ट विथ, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, सगळ्या पुस्तकांमध्ये सगळीकडे हे सांगतात की पहिले तुम्ही सेव्ह करा आणि बाकीचं मग स्पेंड करा. पहिले स्पेंड करून नंतर सेव्ह करता येणार नाही. अँड द डे यू स्टार्ट सेव्हिंग 50% or more of your take home per month, you are financially free. आता स्पेंडिंग कशावर होत असतं? स्पेंडिंग होत असतं आपल्या प्रोडक्ट ऑफ नीड्सवर, ज्याला आपण पॉन्स म्हणता येईल, आणि खर्च होत असतो प्रोडक्ट ऑफ प्रेस्टिजवर. आता प्रोडक्ट ऑफ नीड्स काय? आपलं अन्न, वस्त्र, निवारा, बेसिक फोन, मोबाईल, घडी, जे काय असेल ते, ह्या बेसिक गोष्टी ज्या तुम्हाला आवश्यक आहे. आणि व्हॉट इज अ प्रोडक्ट ऑफ प्रेस्टिज? याची खूप सुंदर डेफिनेशन राम सर सांगतात, हु इज अ मेंटर ऑफ अवर वेल्थ कॉन. ते म्हणतात की जी गोष्ट तुम्ही विकत घेतल्यानंतर तुमच्या स्टेटसवर ठेवता, सोशल मीडियाच्या, व्हॉट्सअपवर ठेवता, फेसबुकवर ठेवता किंवा पार्टीमध्ये शो ऑफ करता, दॅट इज द प्रोडक्ट ऑफ प्रेस्टिज. तो पॉप आहे. आणि यावर जर तुम्ही खर्च करायला लागले तर तुम्ही डेफिनेटली, आय विल टेल यू द एक्झाम्पल. रिसेंटली मी माझी गाडी चेंज केली. 10 वर्षात माझी गाडी फक्त 60,000 किलोमीटर चालली. वी आर सो बिझी विथ अवर प्रॅक्टिस अँड वी आर सो इनग्रॉस इन अवर प्रॅक्टिस दॅट वी डोंट गेट द टाइम टू स्पेंड अँड टाइम टू, कितीही चांगली गाडी घेतली तरी वी आर गोइंग टू कीप इट ॲट अवर गॅरेज फॉर सो मेनी डेज. सो व्हॉट एव्हर थिंग, कुठलीही गोष्ट तुम्ही जर सोशल मीडियावर जर टाकत असाल तर दॅट इज द क्रायटेरिया की दॅट इज अ प्रोडक्ट ऑफ प्रेस्टिज. आता आपण थोडंसं इन्व्हेस्टमेंटकडे बोलूया. तर इन्व्हेस्टमेंटचे 4च मेन पिलर्स असतात किंवा आहेत, GRE आणि D. म्हणजे गोल्ड, रिअल इस्टेट, इक्विटी आणि डेट. आपण एक एक करून बघूया. यातलं इन्व्हेस्टमेंट हे ब्रॉड क्लास झाले, याला म्हणता येईल आपलं जेनरिक झाले, आणि त्याच्या मग स्पेसिफिक्स मध्ये सुद्धा आपण नंतर जाणार आहे. पण टू स्टार्ट विथ, आता गोल्ड, फिजिकल गोल्ड वर्सेस SGB अँड गोल्ड बीज. तर लक्षात घ्या, सॉव्हरिन गोल्ड बॉन्ड आणि गोल्ड बीज. गोल्ड बीज आर एक्सचेंज ट्रेडेड फंड ऑफ अ गोल्ड. दीज आर द बेस्ट इन द क्लास. तुम्हाला घ्यायचं असेल तर. रिअल इस्टेटमध्ये आपल्यापैकी प्रत्येक जण, प्रत्येक डॉक्टर याचा एक्सपर्ट आहे. प्रत्येकाकडे भरपूर भरमसाठ रिअल इस्टेट आहे. त्याबद्दल आपण न बोललेलं बरं. त्यात ॲप्रिसिएशन होते, नाही असं नाहीये. त्याचा पण एक रेशो आहे की आपण जवळपास एक 30 ते 40% तुमचा जो पोर्टफोलिओ आहे तो तुम्ही रिअल इस्टेटमध्ये ठेवा. बट इक्विटी दॅट इज गोइंग टू बी अ टुडेज बिग अँड मेन इम्पॉर्टंट टॉपिक ऑफ डिस्कशन, दॅट इज इक्विटी. त्यामध्ये मग ETF आहे, शेअर्स आहे, म्युच्युअल फंड्स आहे, त्या बाकीच्या गोष्टी आपण त्या ज्या आहे. तर इक्विटी इज अ जनरिक प्रोडक्ट, मग त्याच्यातले बाकीचे प्रोडक्ट आपण पाहणार आहात. आणि शेवटी आहे डेट. दोज ophthalmologists who are more than 50 years of age, they must be knowing this category. That is a debt fund, that is a government securities, FDs, PPF and mutual funds. So these are the debt products. So basically असं म्हणतात की जो 40 वर्ष किंवा त्याच्यापेक्षा खालच्या कमी वयाचा आहे त्यांनी आपलं 10-40-40-10 मध्ये जायला पाहिजे. म्हणजे 10% ऑफ गोल्ड, 40% ऑफ इक्विटी, 40% ऑफ रिअल इस्टेट अँड 10% ऑफ डेट. बट व्हेन युअर एज इज मोर दॅन 50 इयर, त्यावेळेस आपलं डेटचं प्रमाण वाढवा आणि तुमचं रिअल इस्टेटचं प्रमाण आणि इक्विटीचं प्रमाण थोडंसं कमी करा. आता मी थोडक्यात थर्ड जो पिलर आहे तुमच्या पर्सनल फायनान्सचा, तो इन्शुरन्स, याच्यावर थोडासा वेळ घेऊ इच्छेन. जेव्हा आपण आपली इन्व्हेस्टमेंट जर्नी सर्व लोक चालू करतो, तो आपण सर्वात आधी काय चालू करतो? LICचे प्लॅन्स. दिस इज अ बिगेस्ट मिस्टेक आपल्यापैकी बरेच जण करतात, मी पण केलेली आहे. इन्व्हेस्टमेंट आणि इन्शुरन्स कधीही एकत्र करू नका, कारण की ते 2 वेगवेगळे प्रोडक्ट आहे. पण त्यांनी इतकं हे इन्व्हेस्टमेंट प्लॅन्स किंवा हे जे सगळे ज्याच्या मागे पण प्लॅन हा शब्द लागतो, these are the all insurance company, these are sold by a smart people to the ignorant people. म्हणून आम्ही आपल्या वेल्थ फंड मध्ये त्याला इग्नोरन्स प्लॅन म्हणतो, कारण की ज्यांना माहित नसते तोच लोक फक्त LICचे आणि हे सगळे प्लॅन्स घेतात. मग आपण इन्शुरन्स घ्यायचाच नाही काय? तर इन्शुरन्स घ्यायचा, पण इन्शुरन्स हा प्रोडक्ट मी वेगळा ठेवा आणि इन्व्हेस्टमेंट हे तुम्ही वेगळं ठेवा. तर तुम्हाला कोणते इन्शुरन्स लागतात? तर इम्पॉर्टंट आहे लाईफ इन्शुरन्स. घ्यायचा असलं तर फक्त टर्म इन्शुरन्सच घ्यायचा. नवरा बायको दोन्ही कमावते असतील, डॉक्टर असतील, तर त्यापैकी जो जास्त कमावणार आहे त्याचाच टर्म इन्शुरन्स घ्या. दोघांचा टर्म इन्शुरन्स घ्यायची गरज नाहीये, कारण की तुम्ही विचार करा की त्याचं इन्कम जर बंद झालं तर तुमचं इन्कम कमी होईल, म्हणून टर्म इन्शुरन्स घ्यायचा. आणि टर्म इन्शुरन्स किती घ्यायचा? तर तुमचं जे अॅन्युअल एक्सपेन्सेस गुणिला 20 एवढा टर्म इन्शुरन्स घ्या. व्हॅनिला म्हणजे प्युअर टर्म इन्शुरन्स घ्या, मनी बॅक घेऊ नका. आणि एकाच वेळेस तुम्ही त्याचे पैसे न भरता प्रत्येक वर्षी पैसे भरायचे, प्रत्येक वर्षी त्याचं टर्म रिन्युअल करायचं. म्हणून टर्म इन्शुरन्स इज व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट. ज्यांच्यावर लायबिलिटीज आहेत, त्यांच्यावर लोन्स आहेत, ज्यांच्यावर किड्सच्या लायबिलिटीज आहेत, त्यांना टर्म इन्शुरन्सची गरज आहे. इफ यू डोंट हॅव लायबिलिटीज, डोंट टेक द टर्म इन्शुरन्स ऑल्सो. सेकंड इम्पॉर्टंट इन्शुरन्स इज हेल्थ इन्शुरन्स. आपण डॉक्टर असलो तरीही आपल्याकडे हेल्थ इन्शुरन्स हा असलाच पाहिजे. युजली तो इंडिव्हिज्युअल घ्या, प्रत्येकाचा फॅमिली फ्लोटर शक्यतो घेऊ नका. त्याचे कारण आहे, प्रत्येकाचा घ्या. आणि जे आपले मायनर किड्स आहेत, तर 2 मुलं असतील तर 1 मुलगा 1 मुलगी, तर एक तुमच्या अकाउंट सोबत घ्या, एक त्याच्या आईसोबत घ्या. पण इंडिव्हिज्युअल घ्या, सो दॅट दे कॅन युटिलाइज देअर एंटायर प्रीमियम फॉर एंटायर सम अश्युअर्ड फॉर देम. रिगार्डिंग इंडिमिनिटी, आता इंडिमिनिटी आता रिसेंटली अकोल्याला सुद्धा एक छान सेमिनार झाला रिगार्डिंग मेडिकल लीगल. त्यात इंडिमिनिटीचा खूप इम्पॉर्टन्स आहे. त्यात मी 1 करोड सांगितलं आहे, पण नाउडेज वी वॉन्ट टू इन्क्रीज युअर प्रोफेशनल इंडिमिनिटी टू ॲटलीस्ट 2 करोड. ही प्रत्येकाकडे इंडिमिनिटी असलीच पाहिजे. कुठे काय केस होईल सांगता येत नाही. आणि लास्ट बट नॉट द लिस्ट इज अ कार अँड ट्रॅव्हल. इतकेच इन्शुरन्स घेणं जरुरी आहे. यामध्ये ज्याही गोष्टीमध्ये युलिप प्लॅन किंवा कुठेही प्लॅन हा नाव आलं कुठल्याही कंपनीचं, तर त्या गोष्टींपासून तुम्ही दूर पळा, त्याच्या मागे लागू नका. सो इन्शुरन्स इज ओनली दिस इज मच इन्शुरन्स इज रिक्वायर्ड फॉर युअर पर्सनल थिंग. रिगार्डिंग लोन, सो वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू टॅक्सेशन बट लोन. ECT मधला लोन मधला हा एक मोठा एक प्रकार तुम्ही लक्षात घ्या. देर आर ओनली 2 or 3 गुड लोन्स अँड बॅड लोन्स. गुड लोन पैकी वन ऑफ द इम्पॉर्टंट गुड लोन इज एज्युकेशनल लोन. तुम्ही एज्युकेशन पर्पजसाठी घेत असाल तर इज अ गुड लोन. सेकंड इज अ बिझनेस लोन बिकॉज यू आर इन्क्रीजिंग युअर बिझनेस. अँड थर्ड इज सम वॉट होम लोन. हे फक्त 3च प्रकारचे लोन्स जे आहेत ते तुमच्या कामाचे आहेत किंवा ते गुड लोन्स आहेत. अदरवाइज all the other loans, all the personal loan, these are all are a bad product and these are the modern slavery. तुमचे जे काही लोन आहे, ओल्डन डेज मध्ये तुमचे हे असायचे, स्लेव्स असायचे. आता आजकाल आपण बँकेचे स्लेव्ह झालेले आहोत. सो लोन जोपर्यंत शक्य आहे तोपर्यंत लोन न घेतलेलं बरं. आणि इफ यू रिक्वायर्ड ओनली पर्सनल मध्ये तुम्ही यू हॅव टू हॅव ओनली 3 काइंड ऑफ गुड लोन. दॅट इज अ एज्युकेशन लोन, then business loan or somewhat of home loan. आता आपण मिस्टेक इन्व्हेस्टमेंटमध्ये काय करतो की आपण एकतर हे पाहतो की एकतर एखाद्या LIC पॉलिसी म्हणा किंवा मी LICचं नाव देतोय पण अदरवाईज सगळ्या ह्या पॉलिसीच्या इग्नोरन्स पॉलिसीमध्ये आपण टाकतो किंवा मी त्यात इन्व्हेस्ट केलाय ज्यात नॉट मोर दॅन 4-5% ऑफ तुम्हाला रिटर्न मिळतात. दॅट इज वन मिस्टेक. और अदरवाईज कुणाच्या तरी टिप्सवरून कुठेतरी एखाद्या स्मॉल आणि पेनी स्टॉकमध्ये आपण पैसे टाकतो क्रिप्टोमध्ये पैसे टाकतो की आपल्याला 400% रिटर्न मिळतील. ह्या दोन्ही गोष्टी चुकीच्या आहेत. आपण आपलं फायनान्स पर्सनल फायनान्स करताना एक रिझनेबल अमाऊंट ऑफ सॉरी एक 20-22-24% 25% ज्यावर जर कोणी तुम्हाला प्रॉमिस करत असेल तर प्लीज गो अवे फ्रॉम दॅट. दॅट इज नॉट गोइंग टू सस्टेन फॉर लॉंग टर्म. सो ऍट द एंड ऑफ दिस वेल्थ कॉन पॅसिव्ह इन्व्हेस्टर फिलॉसॉफी काय आहे? दॅट इज इक्विटी इन्व्हेस्टर आहे. दॅट मिनिमम ट्रॅकिंग आपण ठेवणार आहे. Knowledge is not a criteria. Expert as well as novice can do this passive investment. There are only 3 ways to invest: is a direct stocks, exchange traded fund, and equity mutual fund, which we are going to see now. It is a main goal of this is a wealth creation. कमीत कमी टाइम होरायझन हा 7 वर्षाचा ठेवायचा. जे पैसे तुमच्या 7 वर्षासाठी कामात येणार नाहीत तेच पैसे तुम्ही फक्त गुंतवा, कारण की ऍटलीस्ट कमीत कमी 7 वर्ष तरी तुम्ही यात राहिले तर तुमचं छान वेल्थ क्रिएशन होऊ शकतं. तुम्हाला स्टॉक्स किंवा ETF किंवा म्युच्युअल फंड बाय व्हाया SIP सिस्टमिक इन्व्हेस्टमेंट प्लॅन त्यांनी तुम्ही सिस्टमिकली तुम्ही इन्व्हेस्ट करा आणि जेव्हा जेव्हा मार्केट खाली जाईल 5% 10% तेव्हा ऍड ऑन DIP डिप्स. तुमचं यू शुड स्टार्ट विथ एंड इन माइंड. तुम्ही जेव्हा इन्व्हेस्ट करता तेव्हा तुम्हाला एंड पॉईंट माहित पाहिजे. नाही तर फक्त पैसे टाकून दिले आणि विसरून गेले, बस डम कर दिया, डाल दिया पैसे, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. यू शुड बी अ टाइम बेस एक्झिट. फॉर एक्झाम्पल की बाबा 5 वर्षानंतर मला पैसे लागतील, मग त्यावेळेस जी काही किंमत असेल मी त्यातनं बाहेर पडेल. किंवा जर माझी इन्व्हेस्टमेंट हे डबल झाली ट्रिपल झाली तर मी माझ्या इन्व्हेस्टमेंटमध्ये बाहेर पडेल. सो दिज आर द 2 टाइप्स ऑफ टार्गेट. टाइम टार्गेट म्हणजे 5 वर्ष 7 वर्ष आणि प्राइस टार्गेट म्हणजे दुप्पट तिप्पट चौपट माझी इन्व्हेस्टमेंट झाली तर मी बाहेर पडेल. सो यू शुड ऑलवेज बिगिन विथ द एंड इन माइंड. So selection criteria, these are the MPTDS and CARESA criteria which we are going to see. These are copyrighted of WealthCon, but we are going to see in today's seminar. So at the end, it is not an association or company or NGO. WealthCon is an ideology, it is a revolution, and it's a financial education drive for the doctors by the doctors. So take home message from my this short introduction is definitely everybody of us can do it. And you are the only person on earth who is interested in your own money. So take the actions. Equity investment is the best way to create the wealth. Direct stocks or ETF or mutual fund is important. And you should spread the knowledge so that you can learn and earn also. So we'll start our journey of financial freedom. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tapre, sir. It was a wonderful presentation. And you have given an inside depth of about finances, especially to doctors who are very, very ignorant about these things. And you have said a wonderful point that money is not important. I would like to add that money is important. Money is not important. Lots of money is important. Paisa important nahi hai, bahut sara paisa important hai. So with this, I would like to request our own faculty, Dr. Manish Tote sir. He is a cataract and refractive surgeon, and he's a HOD of ophthalmology in Rajendra Kode Medical College, Amravati. He is my guru in short, and he is into derivative trading and investing from last 4 years. Let's see what he speaks about stocks and equities.
Thank you, Subodh. So, is my presentation visible?
Yes, visible.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. So I'll be restricting only to mutual funds. Rest of the will be covered by my other colleagues. So this has already been covered. So we will skip this part of the presentation and I'll restrict only to the mutual funds. So what are the mutual funds? Actually, it is just, all of you know, I'll be just brief about it, that we are just pooling our resources and handing over our money to a fund manager who on our behalf does all the research, invests in suitable shares or whatever mandate that mutual fund has, and then we pay the fund manager some fees for doing this work for us, which we called as the fund management charges or the expenses of the mutual fund. So this is a very short and generic or broad definition of mutual fund. So each word is important because we are going to dwell on all these facts when we move ahead in this presentation. So logistics, where to buy these mutual funds from? The detailed discussion is beyond the scope of today's discussion because we have been allotted very limited time today. But what I do, I will tell you, I do most of my mutual fund investing through the Zerodha Coin app. And sometime earlier, I used to do it from the MFU platform, the mutual fund utility platform. But of late, I have shifted most of my investment to the Zerodha Coin, and why I'll tell you later. Then broadly coming to the types of mutual funds, we have there are many types. I am just being brief by telling the most relevant classification of the mutual fund. We have the direct funds as well as the regular plans. So what are the differences? There are many differences, but the one and only difference which matters to us is that the direct mutual fund we purchase directly from the fund management company. Suppose HDFC Life, HDFC AMC, or Axis, whatever the fund management company is there, we purchase it directly from the fund management company, and there are many apps through which we can purchase this, like the Zerodha Coin app or other which I had already told. Second is the regular plans. These are the plans which are sold to us by the so-called mutual fund advisors. अपने घर पे आता है, अपने दवाखाने में आता है, समय मांगता है, and then he presents all lot of facts and papers and दुनिया भर के बातें बता के, and then he asks us to invest in that. So these are the regular plans. So why, which one to choose and why we'll be seeing later. But remember, this classification is going to be very important as we move ahead in this presentation. Second, the main plans of mutual fund are either the growth or the dividend plans. The growth plans are those where whatever returns you generate from this mutual fund, they are reinvested, and compounding is very easily done in these plans. Whereas the dividend plans, the name is very misleading. Actually, it is not the dividend given by the shares which the mutual fund has been invested, but actually some part of your invested corpus is withdrawn and given back to you as dividends on periodic basis. So you feel it is a dividend plan, but actually it is not. Actually, it is a partial withdrawal, and actually it hampers your compounding. So always go for the growth plan. Then I said the first classification, the direct and the regular. We should always go for the direct mutual fund because at the start of the talk I said that there is something called as expense ratio of the mutual fund. What we pay to the fund management company for doing all this research work and doing all the logistic work on our behalf. So this expense ratio vastly differs whether you choose a direct plan or whether you choose a regular plan. In the direct plan, since we are directly purchasing from the fund management company and no broker or agent is involved, the expense ratio is much less compared to the regular plan. Almost it is to the tune of 1% difference. So most of the regular plans have about 2% of the expense ratio, whereas the direct plans, they have around 1 or 1.25%. So almost 1% difference is always there between the direct plans and the regular plans. So always choose the direct plans. Second, you may say, ठीक है 1% तो ले रहा हूँ, क्या हरकत है, वो सर्विस भी तो दे रहा है ना. So again we are wrong here. Imagine you purchase a plot or you purchase a flat and you purchase it through a broker. Broker को 2% आपने कमीशन दे दिया. सब रजिस्ट्री हो गई, 7/12/62 वॉट एवर PR कार्ड बना के आपके हाथ में आ गया. अगले साल वो आपका ब्रोकर वापस आपके पास आएगा क्या कि सर पिछले साल आपने मेरे थ्रू वो फ्लैट लिया था, मेरे को इस साल भी 2% दो. नहीं देंगे ना. But this is exactly what happens in mutual fund. Your mutual fund expense ratio and your broker gets is 1% every year on top of their total investment, not the new investment. This is the biggest eye opener, which many people don't know. You started with a purpose of say 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs. You keep on adding more funds. आपका 1 करोड़ हो गया, 1.5 करोड़ हो गया. आपका अमाउंट पे 1% वो कमीशन वो एजेंट को जाता है. So imagine this difference makes a huge dent in your final returns when you take the long-term horizon into account. So we'll see this by a calculation also. And lastly, बहुत सारे लोगों ने एजेंट के थ्रू म्यूचुअल फंड लिए हुए. All of us must have, I'm sure, whatever you have taken. Have you met any mutual fund agent or advisor who has come to you कि सर ये फंड का परफॉर्मेंस ठीक नहीं है, इसमें से विड्रॉ कर. I'm sure this advice is never given to you by your mutual fund advisor. So अगर वो एडवाइस भी नहीं दे रहा तो किस बात का उसको फंड का देना है. So second, selecting is not very difficult. We are going to see it when we move ahead in this presentation, that selecting a mutual fund yourself is not at all a big deal. So this is the table which I am showing what I was talking about. Take a very small example of SIP of 10,000 per month and assuming a very modest return of 12%. निफ्टी का अगर ETF भी ले लेंगे तो 12% रिटर्न तो लॉन्ग टर्म में बनाए हैं निफ्टी ने आज तक. So we are thinking of this 12% return, compare it with your regular plan where 1% goes to your broker, so you are getting 11% return. And a tenure of 20 years, and see the difference. The maturity amount here and here, just a small amount of investment, 10,000 gives you so huge difference when you calculate the final amount. And with being doctors, naturally our monthly investment is going to be much more, in fact, than these figures. So imagine what huge amount of difference it is going to make when we come to final amount of our maturity. So again, coming to the mutual funds, Parag sir has already detailed on these, that these are broadly dependent on the underlying assets in which the fund manager invests. And depending on the underlying asset, if it is in the shares, we call them mutual equity funds. If it is in the bonds and government securities, where debt funds, hybrid funds is a combination of the above two. And if the investment is in gold, there are gold funds. They are just a broad classification. We'll not dwell more deeper into it. Again, by market capitalization, this is going to be covered in the next talk. We'll skip this part. But the SEBI classification of the mutual fund, the funds which invest in the large cap shares only, we call them large cap funds. They are share by market capitalization, share number 1 to 100. This is the universe for large cap. Mid cap funds, they invest in share number 151, 101 to 250. So it's a universe of 250 shares. Share fund manager cannot go beyond this mandate if it is they call themselves as a mid cap fund. And the small cap funds are share number 251 and ahead. All the funds, they come in the small cap. Then there are multi cap funds, there are flexi cap funds. Again, the difference is multi cap funds can invest in all the three classes, large, mid, and small. But the proportion of the capital allocation is fixed right at the beginning, whatever is mandated in the fund document. But in flexi cap, the fund management has the freedom to change the allocation from large cap to mid cap to small cap according to market conditions. So this is the only difference between these two, multi cap and flexi cap. Hybrid or balanced, again, it is a combination of all the things. And open-ended and closed-ended, those funds which keep on going for years and years, they are open-ended. And those funds which have a fixed maturity date, say 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, we call them as a closed-end funds. And thematic are the funds which are investing in a particular theme, better not to be considered for the beginners. Then For tax saving purpose, again, most of us do LIC. Again, Parag sir has very rightly elaborated that that is the worst kind of investment. It is not at all an investment. So go for equity linked saving schemes. These are the mutual funds which qualify for tax benefit under Section 80C. They have a lock-in period of 3 years, but still this lock-in period is much less than your most popular tax saving tool, the PPF, or even the LICs. LICs have a lock-in, PPF has a lock-in, but ESS after 3 years, it is open. This is the best avenue if you want to invest for the tax saving purpose. And only invest that much amount which qualifies for tax saving. बाकी का पैसा लॉक करना क्यों है? So don't choose ELSS for amounts more than what is needed for tax saving. Then how many funds one should have? We have all heard of diversification. सबने बताया never keep all eggs in one basket. डाइवर्सिफाई करो, एक का कुछ गड़बड़ हो गया तो दूसरा काम में आएगा, दूसरा कुछ. But in this classification, actually, we have been very much misled by the mutual fund advisors, because mutual fund itself is a diversified product. किसी ने फैक्ट शीट पढ़ी है क्या म्यूचुअल फंड की? अगर नहीं पढ़ी होगी तो देखना. There are at least 40 to 50 shares in one mutual fund. Any diversified equity based mutual fund, 40-50 तो शेयर होती है. अब ये म्यूचुअल फंड खुद ही डाइवर्सिफाइड है. नाउ यू आर गोइंग टू डाइवर्सिफाई इन म्यूचुअल फंड्स आल्सो, कि आप एक फंड ले रहे हैं, दूसरा फंड ले रहे हैं, तीसरा फंड. सो अल्टीमेटली इट इज ऑल डुप्लीकेशन, इट इज नॉट डाइवर्सिफिकेशन. एक्चुअली इट इज ओवर डाइवर्सिफिकेशन, and over diversification is actually more dangerous than a concentration of portfolio. So I will advise over diversification. You should not have too many mutual funds in your portfolio. The last thing you want to go on do is, हर बार नया कोई इन्वेस्टमेंट एडवाइजर आता है, वो अपने को कोई तो भी एक नया स्कीम बताता है, और अब पुराने स्कीम अब तक चल रहा है, उसमें का इन्वेस्टमेंट बंद कर देते, उसका एक नया खरीद देते. ठीक है भाई, पैसा तो डालना है, इसका खरीद ले. दिस इज नॉट टू बी डन. So ideal mutual fund portfolio, what one should have is, you should have one flexi cap fund, one mid or small cap fund, mid cap fund, or mid and small cap. It's a combination of mid and small. Or you can have separate mid cap and small cap. Then you should have one equity linked saving scheme for tax benefits, two balanced funds, and one balanced fund and one liquid fund. This is for the beginner. And once your portfolio becomes very big, when it is in crores, you can add a second fund. Start में 2 से नहीं शुरुआत करना है. You should start with one fund each, one flexi cap, one. Sorry for that. So never over diversify your mutual funds. Start with one fund each. So coming to the next point, when your portfolio is more than 1 crore or 2 crore, you can add a second fund in each category. Till that time, stick to one fund only. Okay. Then you must be seeing that the category of large cap mutual fund is missing here. See here, I have not written the large cap mutual fund here. So why is it so? This large cap, I already told you, they have a limited universe of stocks in which the large cap funds can invest. Stock number 1 to stock number 100, just 100 stocks. And as I have already told, म्यूचुअल फंड में वैसे भी 40-50 स्टॉक तो होते हैं. सो टोटल 100 स्टॉक्स में से 50 स्टॉक तो म्यूचुअल फंड में रह नहीं वाले हैं. And every alternate stock is going to be there in your mutual fund. So half or 1/3 of the universe is anyway going to be present there. So why do you want to pay your fund manager some handsome amount just to choose 50 stocks from 100 that you yourself can do? And in the next talk, you are going to learn how to choose good stocks. So avoid large cap funds. Instead, either invest in large cap funds yourself, or you can start a SIP in a small case platform which invest in large cap funds. So what is this small case platform? I'll touch upon at the end of the presentation. Or you can simply buy a ETF, index ETF. Index is the exchange traded fund which invest in the Nifty stocks in the same proportion in which Nifty is composed. निफ्टी के 50 शेयर है, और 50 शेयर में सेम प्रोपोर्शन में ETF इन्वेस्ट करेगा, आपको ज्यादा हेडेक लेने की जरूरत नहीं. एंड दीज आर वेरी चीप प्रोडक्ट्स बिकॉज द मैनेजमेंट चार्जेस आर वेरी लेस हियर. And management charges do make a good amount of difference when you calculate your final outcome. So what are the things you should look? सबसे पते की बात, एक म्यूचुअल फंड स्कीम्स चूज करने में what are the things you should see? Most of us, even I did before educating myself, is वो एजेंट आके बताता था, सर ये फंड ने पिछले साल इतने इतने रिटर्न दिए, और वो साइन लेता था, चेक लेके जाता था, और वो फंड हमारे पोर्टफोलियो में आ जाता था. दिस इज द लास्ट थिंग यू हैव टू डू. दिस इज अ बिग नो. दिस इज नॉट द वे टू चूज अ फंड. अ फंड शुड हैव अ गुड ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड. It should have at least more than 5 year old. It should be at least more than 5 year old fund. 5 साल का कम से कम उसका ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड होना चाहिए. The fund should not be very small. It should be sizable. The asset under management of that fund should be more than 1,000 crore, or even looking at the current liquidity, you can even uh, go for a bigger fund with more asset under management. Because whenever there are some crisis situations, or whenever there is a liquidity crunch, it will be very difficult to redeem your money from the smaller funds. Then the fund should give good returns, not just last year, but over a consistent period of 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year time frame. This is important. एक साल की एक रात की चांदनी में कोई मतलब नहीं है. You have to have a fund which is performing consistently. Next, it should have a least expense ratio. We have already built upon it, and we can apply some risk indicators once you shortlist using all the above criteria. When we finalize the fund, you can look for the Sortino, Alpha, and Beta. Now, what are these? Beyond the scope of this topic, but just suffice it to say that these are the safety indicators of the risk indicators. Sortino and Alpha, higher the better, and Beta is lower the better. अब इन सबको याद रखने के लिए our mentor Dr. Ramnath Gutte has given us a mnemonic, the CARESA. CARESA, C stands for category of the fund. We are dealing with the equity funds. Again, the equity funds, we can see large cap, mid cap, small cap, flexi cap, multi cap. So category wise, you have to do your research. Then age of the fund, more than 5 years. Asset under management, we have already seen more than 1,000 crore or even more. Consistent returns. Expense ratio, less the better. Sortino, more the better. And Alpha, more the better. And the Beta, that is something which I have added from my side, less the better. Beta should be less the better. This is the most important slide of this presentation. I'll urge you take a screenshot of this. This is the thing कि कल जाके क्या करना है घर जाके. This is one thing which is going to help you tomorrow when you start implementing what we have studied today. अब ये डाटा मिलेगा कहाँ पे? क्राइटेरिया तो बता दिया. So there are n number of websites where you can get reliable data. What is most commonly used is the valueresearchonline.com, moneycontrol.com, or tickertape.com. Which I use personally. I use valueresearchonline.com because I find it very easy to use. But wherever you are comfortable, you can find the data. Now, originally, I was planning to give you a demo of going on the valueresearchonline.com and actually doing fund selection. But now, since we are short of time, we will be skipping that. But I have made a video of this, and this video is available on my YouTube channel by the name Dr. Manish Tote. You can search YouTube by my name, Dr. Manish Tote, and mutual fund selection. If you put this criteria, you will get that video. It's a 8 or 10 minutes video, and you can play it and replay it till you get the point, and it's very easy to understand. It is self-understood explaining. So please watch this video after we finish this webinar. And if you have any difficulty, I will always be there to talk to you later. What are the things we should avoid when you do a mutual fund investment? Avoid in thematic funds. This is for beginners. Once you are expert and when you are familiar with market cycles, you can go for thematic funds, but you should be knowing the theme cycles because market always runs in cycles. Sometimes FMCG is in flavor, sometimes banking and financials are in flavor, sometimes oil and gas. So if you are not a well-versed investor and you are not knowing these market cycles, better avoid thematic funds or sectoral funds. Again, the same issue applies to sectoral funds. Never go for new fund offers because there is no track record. Never go for regular plans because the expense ratio is too much. Never go for too many funds belonging to the same criteria because I have already told
So
mutual funds are always diversified products. And
can we wrap up, sir?
yes, I'll wrap it immediately. And things you should not do is tracking your investment too frequently or tracking your investment not tracking at all. हर हफ्ते भी नहीं देखना है और सालों साल तक नहीं देखना है, ये भी नहीं करना है. So ideal ways, you should go by staggered way of investment, systemic investment plan. If you have some lump sum amount to be invested, put it in a liquid fund and start a systematic transfer plan, but never put lump sum at one time. Whenever there are market down periods, whenever there are dips, you can increase your SIP amount or you can double your SIP amounts. And whenever you reach your goal, we can start a systematic withdrawal plan. Don't wait for your event to come कि मेरा बेटी की शादी है या बेटी के MBBS का एजुकेशन का फी भरना है उस दिन मैं निकालूंगा उसी दिन मार्केट क्रैश होने वाला है. So start withdrawing funds well in advance in a staggered way. Just like you invest in a staggered way, withdraw in a staggered way. Then when to change your funds? When there is something fundamentally wrong. नहीं तो हमने सब रिसर्च करके टॉप का फंड देखा और अगले साल वो टॉप ही रहेगा कोई गारंटी नहीं. बट एज लॉन्ग एज द फंड रिमेन्स इन द टॉप 10, कुछ नहीं करना. नेवर tinker with your investment. Then I was going to talk with about small cases, but this we will leave for some other day because we are running short of time. So thank you very much. Wishing you a very happy investing journey.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Manish, sir. I know you have got a profound knowledge and a huge investment knowledge, and it cannot be covered in a very short time as this. I think we have to take around 2 or 3 sessions for you. So without wasting much of a time, I would like to request Dr. Prachi Revanwar, who is an ophthalmologist and a facial aesthetician, a Cosmovision's clinics. She is going to speak about stock and equity. Please, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, so my screen is visible, I guess, right?
Go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah. Let's start from the first line. Okay. So thank you, Vidarbha Ophthalmic Society and the concerned committee members to invite me to talk on this topic. And the beginning of my presentation won't go without the mention of my mentor, whose picture you can see on the first slide, who has made me capable and confident enough to talk finance. So I am Dr. Prachi Revanwar, an ophthalmologist and facial aesthetician practicing in Nagpur, Maharashtra, and I'm a welcome speaker. So now, before I start my presentation, let me brief you about the meaning of equities. So these are the financial instruments that are bought and sold in the secondary market. And these are the shares of the listed companies. So let us see how to invest in equities and why to invest. First thing is that we should always invest in equities to diversify our portfolio. Secondly, investment in equities, if done religiously over a longer period of time, it beats inflation and also gives us returns, which is almost twice to that of the debt products. Again, equities are not bound by maturity. That is, we can buy them or sell them anytime we wish to. And last but not the least, they are taxed more efficiently as compared to the debt instruments and other assets. So now let's see how to proceed with the stock investments. As my mentor has formulated an extremely easy way of screening the stocks on the basis of the company fundamentals. And even a 7th grade student can do stock screening by this method. We call this the MPTDS criteria of stock screening. So before delving into the depth of this discussion, let me tell you a few things which I think Parag sir has already mentioned, that we should always do the investment keeping the end in mind, and investment in stocks or any market related securities has to be done with a time horizon of 7 years or more. Stock market is volatile and the returns may not be consistent. Hence, patience, disciplined investment, and faith in your own analysis of selection of stocks is must. And of course, buying by SIP and DIPs are comparatively effortless ways of stock investment. So now let us see how the stocks are screened or selected. Ram Sir, our mentor, has formulated an abbreviation, that is MPTDS, which is a study of a particular stock with respect to the following criteria. And this is to be studied on the website, that is screener.in, where M stands for the market capitalization, that is the size of the company, and it should be more than 10,000 crore. This criteria filters out the top 300 companies out of the 5 or 6,000 companies that are listed on the exchange. Now, P stands for the price of the stock, that should be uptrending for at least 5 to 10 years. T for the taxes paid by the company should be on the increasing side year on year. D means the dividends paid to the stockholders, and that should be also increasing every year. And S is the sales of the company, that is directly related to the production demand, should also be on the increasing side. So now when we run the query on the screener.in website about market capitalization more than 10,000 crores, it selects the top 8 to 10% of the companies, which we can see here a few. I mean, this is just a screenshot of it, and it filters out the rest of the companies. Now, this makes a task pretty easy for application of further criteria. We can then select the top 2 companies of each sector. So here we can see a few companies selected by the market cap criteria. And here you can see that market cap for all these companies is more than 10,000 crores. So now the next point, that is the P for price. So price forms an important point of consideration when we invest. And this price depends upon the sentiments of the investor for that stock, its demand and supply. When seeing the price on screener, we see that the price of the stock should always be in uptrend. It means that the company is performing well and the investors are believing in the growth and future of that company. Now on screen, we are seeing the price chart of Reliance Industries, which is showing a steady growth over a period of 10 years or more. And here you may see a sharp dip. Now this is coinciding with the COVID dip. And eventually the price has caught up. So this company is fit in MPTDS criteria. Again, we are seeing the chart, a similar chart of Hindustan Unilever Limited, also showing a steep rise or a steady rise in the price over a period of 10 years or more. Now, this steady rise in price also makes this company satisfy the P criteria of MPTDS. Now, there may be few ups and downs like you are seeing here, but this is a part of any chart that is linked to the market. Next, we can see here a chart of Yes Bank, the price chart. So here is the catch. On seeing the chart, we can see that there is an uptrend for the initial few years. That means this company was considered good initially. It was a part of Nifty 50 index, that is one of the top 50 stocks. And all was going good when there was a sudden intervention by RBI. I think RBI must have interfered somewhere here, and it exposed the fundamentals of the stock in such a way that it badly hit the price of the stock and led to the fall in the share price, not to rise again, what we can see here. So what happened is that Rana Kapoor, the owner of Yes Bank, his diamonds, that is the prized Yes Bank shares, turned into carbon or stones overnight. And the investors started pulling their money out from the stock and made it unfit for further investment. So the next criteria is the T, that is the tax criteria. So after selecting the particular stock based on the M and P criteria, we go to see the cash flow statement from the screener website or the annual statement of that particular stock. And the snapshot here shows that an year-on-year tax paid by the company has been on the rise. If you see these figures, you're seeing that they're on the rising side. And the negative figures here indicate that the money is going out from the company's bank account in the form of taxes. So taxes and dividends are the proxy to the growth of any company. As these figures cannot be faked in the annual report of that particular company, And more the taxes paid means the company is making more profit over the period of years and is considered fit to be staying invested into. Now, next, let's go to the D or the dividend part. Again, here we see that the dividends paid by the company over the past few years are on the increasing side. And one sec, I think my battery is running low. So, the distributing the dividends to its shareholders suggests that a good surplus profits are generated by the company and its robust stability. So here too, a negative sign indicates that money is going out from the company's account in the form of dividends. Okay, so next is the S for sales. Increasing sales of any company means over a period of 5 to 10 years suggests that the company is good enough to keep the consumers' interests intact in their products. It also indicates that the company has a promising future ahead. So sales figures are seen in the profit and loss statement, as we can see over here. And this particular we see that the steadily increasing earnings are happening from the sales of the products year on year. We can see that these figures are increasing number. So after screening any company for MPTDS on screener.in, it can be further categorized as MPTDS valid when it satisfies all the criteria of investments, that is having a market capitalization of more than 10,000 crores, the price, the taxes paid, the dividends distributed, the sales generated are in the pricing manner. So remember, uptrend is our friend, and calling a company MPTDS invalid means it is not satisfying one or more criteria over one or more periods. So we should discard such a stock and not invest in it. Calling a company MPTDS doubtful means the company is not fulfilling one of the criteria for one particular period of assessment. We can keep this company to analyze later, and we can keep it in the watch list, and we can analyze it later. Now, calling our criteria, that is the MPTDS criteria of selection, highly specific means any company that fulfills this criteria is considered as one of the best companies to be invested in. That doesn't mean that the other companies are not good. Even the mutual fund managers do similar kind of studies for stock selections in their mutual funds. Now, here comes the practical application of our stock selection. So, after selecting the stocks by MPTDS, let us see how an average investor's portfolio should look like. Person should have in his portfolio or the passive or long-term investment portfolio some 20 stocks across 10 different sectors. That is 2 stocks of each sector. Now, this is called the sectoral or the intra-asset class diversification. So here is a list of few sectors worth investing into. They are the information technology, the banking sector, oil and gas, fast-moving consumer goods, or FMCG, the financial sector, automobiles, healthcare, chemicals, metals, power, etc. So after the list of the stocks for investment is ready, we should proceed towards the actual investment. We may do it on any discount broking platform as per our choice. So buying is to be done on SIP, that is the systematic investment plan, and adding on DIPS, that is buying the same stocks in more quantity when the stock prices show correction and on the basis of certain parameters like the indicators of the choice or as per your expertise in stock screening. So investment means profit with peace. So always remember, it should have a time horizon of 7 years or more. And yes, do not forget to assess your portfolio every 6 months to a year. Because you all know, those kitne bhi अच्छे हो, 5% to धोखा देके ही जाते हैं. Same happens with stocks. 5 to 10% of the stocks are always going to betray you in the form of not performing well. So what are we going to do? We are going to select new stocks of the same categories and withdraw our investment from this stock and reinvest in the newly selected stock. So now, trying to make the long talk short, here is a take-home message from my end. Diversification is the crux of any investment principle. It provides safety to our investments. Again, buying by SIP and DIP is the best way of passive or the long-term investment because market, we all know, cannot be timed. Duration of any investment should be 7 years or more to get the desired returns. Okay, let me just put a word about ETFs or exchange traded funds. So these ETFs are a collection of stocks or bonds or other securities in one fund, like any mutual fund. But they are bought and sold like a stock on the stock exchange. They experience a change in the price like stocks, unlike the mutual funds during the day. So the benefits of ETFs are they are cost effective due to the lesser expense ratio. They are taxed efficiently as compared to the mutual funds. They are sold and bought easily with minimal price titration. They carry minimal risk as they represent the indices and they provide risk returns equal to the benchmark. So a few examples of ETFs are the equity ETFs like the Nifty Bs, Junior Bs, Mid 150 Bs, etc. The bond ETFs like the liquid Bs, the gilt Bs, and the commodity ETFs like the gold Bs and silver Bs. So investing in ETFs is also similar to that of stocks, that is buying on SIP and DIP and horizon of investment horizon of minimum 7 years. So I think I should end my talk over here. This was pretty brief talk after the previous presentations. So friends, all the best. Happy investing. Thank you. And fir milenge. Thanks.
Wonderful presentation, madam. It was a wonderful, and the best part of it was like you showed the live slides of MPTDS selections. I am also a TMP graduate, so it was a wonderful to refresh from you. And
Thank you, sir.
with this, I would like to just ask all the three speakers one basic and a very brutal question. If you are given a rupees 100, how much you will invest in stock, how much you will invest in mutual funds, how much in gold, and how much in real estate, and what would be your best? Firstly, I would like to ask Dr. Tapre sir, then Manish sir, and then Prachi ma'am.
Yes, there is a very basic and very important question. If you are less than 40 years of age, then 10, 40, 40, 10. That is a approximate guideline. That is a 10% in gold, 40% in real estate, 40% in equity, and 10% in debt. But if you are more than 50 years of age, those who are on the senior side, they should increase their allocation in debt fund. You can increase debt fund up to 40 or more than 40 instead of 10, and decrease your equity exposure and real estate exposure. So that is answer from my side.
Manish sir.
Well, as far as I am concerned, I am a bit aggressive investor. 10% of gold, I agree. Real estate, we already have too much. Most of any doctor worth is salt. Property, plot, flat, height, no new investment in real estate. If you are around 40-45, तुम्हारा सब real estate का most of लोगों का कोटा पूरा हो गया रहता है. I am an equity guy. My most of the investment will go into equity. And when your corpus is huge, when you have a significant sum assured, sum invested, I don't think you need much of debt to fall back upon, because equity crash हो के भी 50% से ज्यादा नहीं crash होती, worst of the times में भी. So I will be equity guy. My most of the investment will always be in equity.
Dr. Prachi ma'am.
Yeah, as the previous two speakers have already said about the GRED distribution, I would just like to add one point, like coming to the equity part, as Dr. Manish was saying. Now, let me just try to put in words like how do you divide the equity component? Like in the previous talk of mutual funds also, it was mentioned that when it comes to the large cap component, it is always better to go for stocks, and the mid cap and the small cap component should better be covered by the mutual funds. So similar is my thought also. So when I was presenting a talk on stocks, what I prefer is that go for stock component for the large cap stocks, and it should form around 50% of your total equity component. 30% of the equity component should come from the mid cap funds, and 20% of the equity component should come from the small cap funds. Now, this was regarding the division, intra-asset, about the equity part. Rest about the debt and the real estate and gold is well said about the previous two speakers.
Noted, point noted. But still your answer was a little bit all like little bit confusing, like out of 100, because all the three answers were varied, though you are a TMT graduate from the same
Again,
teacher
it's
which
very
I have been.
subjective, Subodh. I
Yes,
don't
yes.
think one
We
size
can
fits
generalize
all
it.
will work here.
Yes,
You
sir,
have
yes.
to, it all depends on your risk appetite, your mental framework, and lastly, your amount or your corpus invested. If your corpus is huge, I don't think you need too much of debt.
Right.
You can afford to go flat out in equity with majority of investments. Of course, real estate तो सबके पास है, and cash generate कम करो तो रियल एस्टेट में कम रहेगा, लेकिन वही है कि बता बता के थक गए लोग, कैश जनरेट करते जाते हैं और रियल एस्टेट में डालते जाते, बट आई हैव
नो बाय सेल्फ, दैट इज द
other
आंसर.
thoughts about it.
तरह ओळखा, नो दाय सेल्फ, कि मेरा रिस्क एपेटाइट कितना है, मेरा टाइम होराइजन कितना है, मेरे बच्चों का एजुकेशन, उनका पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन, उनकी शादी, मेरा रिटायरमेंट.
Yes, it is highly subjective.
तो उसको एक छोटा सा अपना खुद का एक पर्सनलाइज बना एंड देन डिसाइड. तुमको अच्छा खासा उसमें इक्विटी में बहुत अच्छा है, अभी तो अगले 10 साल के लिए तो बहुत अच्छा क्राइटेरिया ये है इन इक्विटी. यू कैन गो. डेट में भी तुम, अब कैसा है कि सी डेट में फिर उसका थोड़ा सा टीएमपी में हम लोग बाकी भी यूज करते हैं. वी पुट इट इनटू लाइक उसको प्लेज करके उसको उसके ऊपर पैसे के ऊपर पैसा कमा सकते हैं. बट इट इज लिटिल हायर एंड टू स्टार्ट विथ. टुडेस प्रोग्राम इज फॉर अ बिगिनर. सो बेसिकली
Yes.
100 रुपये आहे तुमच्याकडे, तर मनीष सरांनी बरोबर सांगितलं की रिअल इस्टेट सोडून द्या. 40, 50, 60 पर्यंत तुम्ही इक्विटीमध्ये जा. 60% पर्यंत इक्विटीमध्ये जा. 10% नो फिजिकल गोल्ड, पण ऍटलीस्ट यू शुड हॅव एसजीबीज. खूप छान रिटर्न भेटतात एसजीबी मध्ये. आणि कसं कधी
Exactly.
इक्विटीमध्ये काही प्रॉब्लेम झालाच तर तुमचा गोल्ड तुम्हाला तारून देतो. आणि त्यासाठी की जस्ट टू फॉल बैक कि वो ये अभी कैसा 7.3 7.4% तक आपको लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए मिल रहा है, बिकॉज इंटरेस्ट रेट आर हाई. तो क्या होगा कि उसको अगर 2065 2064 के बॉन्ड्स तुमने लेके रखे तो उसके हिसाब से चलते रहता है, और उसको तुम प्लेज करके यू कैन डू द टीएमपी आल्सो लाइक दैट. सो दैट इज द आइडिया. तो नो दाय सेल्फ, अपने आप को खुद को देखो, सोचो मुझे क्या चाहिए, मुझे क्या करना है, और स्टार्ट करो. कुछ तो स्टार्ट करो, डू समथिंग. That is,
Sir,
yes sir.
Again, I'd like to add one more thing. When we are talking of a beginner, age is on your side. And for a beginner, again, I will say, when your age is in your side, you should be more into equity and less into debt.
Sir, Dr. Prachi madam, I would like to ask one question. Like you said that the exit plan, like after 7 years. So
Yes,
is it
sir.
only 7 years fixed, or if at all, if we dream of some, like, for example, you have taken a Reliance for a long term and we have achieved like around 20% or 30%. So can we like target it like for as a percentage wise only, or only 7 years is the fixed?
No, sir. It is like if we have seen the previous, studied the Nifty chart previously, what we have seen that in a span of 7 years, it has always shown there's always a sizable gain. So from here, the funda of 7 years come. It is not a stamped figure that it should be 7 years only. But because it is, we can't time the market and there's a ups and lows in the market. So considering a longer time horizon, when you're doing in sip and dip, this compounding effect of your own product, and you can always invest for a longer period also. But because these are market linked and these don't have any expiry, these are not the fixed maturity plans like the debt products. That means they can go up, they can go down. See, you can't say that मुझे 5 साल में निकालना है, तो 5 साल के बाद में जो भी market हो मैं निकालूंगा. It is possible that it has given you a very good return. But whatever the studies have been done on Nifty, it is that a period of 7 years minimum is necessary. Without any headache, if you have decided ki I want it for a longer term. So keep it that way. But then if you go for a mid cap and small cap segment, be prepared to stay invested even for a longer time. Because see, these are the growing companies. So they may grow faster, they may plummet also. With even slightly the Nifty is shaking and these stocks are going to go down. Right? So mid cap and small cap ke liye, you can keep an investment horizon even more. But just 7 years should be must. See, if your target is hit, like targets should be like इतना परसेंट हुआ मुझे निकालना है, ओके यू कैन कीप दैट टारगेट शुड बी लाइक अभी मेरे बेटे का 12th है, फिर ग्रेजुएशन इज देयर, मैरिज इज देयर, समथिंग इज लाइक दैट. So during that period, I want money. And if that comes beyond 7 years or something, you can definitely put in equities. And staggered withdrawal is always best, as Dr. Manish said. So this is a funda about the long-term investment in equity. हो सकता है तुम्हारा 1 साल में ही double 3 times दिया हो, but that is not told by anyone, or you even can't guess it कि that particular investment will grow that much. If it goes, it's well and good. But if it doesn't grow, then just keep in mind that 7 years में तो उसको बढ़ना ही है. So that is the funda of 7 years or more for long-term or equity investment.
Chairman Scientific Committee, Dr. Shamik sir, any special note about this? You are also guide for us.
सर मेरे 2 गुरु बैठे हुए हैं, उनसे ही पूछना अच्छा रहेगा.
अरे तू हमारे गुरु के गुरु हो गए अभी.
नहीं सर.
चलो, anyways,
whatever.
just a last
Parag sir,
yes sir, yes sir.
Parag sir, how much time of a day you are spending on wealth management?
सर माइक
Unmute, Parag,
unmute
unmute
करा.
please.
Dr. Parag sir.
सकाळी जेव्हा मार्केट सुरू होतं तेव्हा 9-9:15 दरम्यान एक अर्धा ते पाऊण तास जातो. आणि जेव्हा मार्केट इव्हिनिंगला जेव्हा काही चार्ट आपल्याला पाहायचे असतात स्विंग ट्रेडिंगसाठी म्हणा किंवा बाकीच्यासाठी, तर संध्याकाळी 1/2 तास अजून एक होतो. ऑलमोस्ट 2 तास, म्हणजे जर वेळ असला तर थोडासा जास्त होतो, पण अदरवाइज 1.5 ते 2 तास त्याच्यात जातात सर.
Okay.
और सुबह सर और एक ऐड करना चाहता था, जैसे आरएसी का एग्जांपल बताता कि 100 के 200 हो गए, दुप्पट हो गए, तो 100 निकाल लिए.
हाँ,
और बचे 100 वो तो फ्री के रह गए, वो फ्री के शेयर
Correct,
जमा
sir,
कर, उसकी तरफ देखना ही नहीं,
nothing to lose.
नथिंग टू लूज. तो
Yes, sir,
वो
yes.
एक फंडा है कि भाई जितना है उतना फ्री के शेयर जमा करते रहो. आरएसी अच्छा दिया, पीएफसी अच्छा दिया, ऐसे बहुत सारे हैं. तो जैसे जैसे उसमें आप लोग जाएंगे ना, अंदर घुसेंगे, तो इतना बढ़िया है और अपना पैसा ग्रो होते हुए दिखता है.
Yes.
कंपनी के बारे में थोड़ा सा पढ़ना, उसके बारे में थोड़ा सा ये करना, तो धीरे धीरे हम लोग उसमें कर सकते हैं.
Yes, sir. One final question to everybody, sir. Like especially Manish sir and Dr. Prachi ma'am. So see, you are an investor in mutual funds, also in a stock. So how often you visit your portfolios? You keep on seeing every day, once in a month or weekly, or what you do?
Portfolio तो
Long
रोज
term,
ही
long
देखते
term.
हैं.
No, no, sir, not about
Portfolio तो
F&O.
रोज देखते हैं, but assessment, we are talking of reassessing the portfolio.
Yeah.
So long term portfolios 6 महीने में एक बार, that is more than enough. Unless some bad news or something flashes on the TV about the company which you are holding, और कौन सी कंपनी में मेरा इन्वेस्टमेंट है, तो दिमाग में पूरा फिट होना चाहिए. ये 20-25 शेयर में मेरा इन्वेस्टमेंट है, उसका कुछ बैड न्यूज टीवी पे फ्लैश हो रहा है या कुछ हो रहा है, और फिर कुछ फंडामेंटली गलत हो रहा है, कोई फ्रॉड पकड़ा गया, दैट इज द रेड फ्लैग. यू कैन एनीवे टेक एन कॉल, बट रूटीन में 6 महीने इज मोर देन इनफ. एंड इफ इट इज म्यूचुअल फंड तो साल में एक बार भी सफिशिएंट है, क्योंकि फंड मैनेजर काय के लिए रखा है, उसको पैसे किस बात के लिए दे रहे हैं.
Okay, so if you are asking me about it, I'm a super passive investor when it comes to investing, but I'm a very aggressive trader. So similarly, I also reassess my portfolio maybe once in 6 months or maybe once in a year, because most of them are small cap mutual funds. And I mainly for long-term investment, I prefer ETFs. So again, I don't have to assess them. Sip and dip, bus. Like some 5% drop, or sometimes like I feel even 500 points drop in Nifty or 700 points drop in Nifty, I prefer to add on dip. I mean, this is my personal scene, what I do at my end. And so I don't have to assess them. In fact, ETFs, so I don't have to look at them only, because as I said, it's a bunch of stocks. तो पूरा बंच है तो फिर क्या एसेस करना है उसमें, है ना. आज मुझे सिर्फ जमा करना है, बिकॉज इट हेल्प्स मी इन माय लॉन्ग टर्म ग्रोथ. And as both of these previous speakers hedging, which is the scope of this talk. And talking about trading, I spend around maybe half an hour to 1 hour per day, because I have to aggressively trade, so I have to look at the stocks. So I think this much is enough for active
Beginners.
trader and a passive investor.
Just a short, like,
one thing. I'd like to add one
yes.
thing about the wrong message should not go about what Parag said. पराग सेड ही उसको 2 घंटे रोज लगते हैं. पराग को 2 घंटे उसके लॉन्ग टर्म पोर्टफोलियो के लिए नहीं लगते भाई लोग. 6
Trading.
महीने में एक बार देखता होगा. पराग को 2 घंटे जो लगते हैं बिकॉज ही इज अ एक्टिव ट्रेडर, ही इज द
Trader.
टीएमपी ट्रेडर, उसके लिए 2 घंटे
Yes,
लगते हैं उसको रोज. इफ यू आर जस्ट इनटू पैसिव इन्वेस्टमेंट 6 महीने में एक बार ही देखना है, उससे ज्यादा समय नहीं लगता. सो आई जस्ट वांटेड टू मेक दिस पॉइंट क्लियर सो दैट द रॉन्ग मैसेज शुड नॉट गो कि अरे यार इन्वेस्टिंग अपने बस का नहीं है, रोज 2 घंटे कौन देगा उसको.
So one final question again. Relation between gold, real estate, and stock. Very short answer, sir. Gold relation between the swings in between.
Yeah,
Very short.
गोल्ड
Yeah.
एंड स्टॉक्स तो अपोजिट चलते हैं.
Yes, sir.
रियल एस्टेट टोटली अनप्रेडिक्टेबल, उसका कोई भरोसा नहीं, कैसे भी चलती.
Okay. And finally, I'd like to say, if you don't manage your money, money will flow to a person who can manage it better than you. And one more thing we all, as a TMP graduate, would like to emphasize is PDF, patience, discipline, and faith. On this note, I would like to request our Secretary, Dr. Sriram Lahore, sir, to give vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Subodh. On the behalf of Vidarbha Ophthalmic Society, I would like to thank all the today's speakers who have really given a very wonderful presentation beyond the ophthalmology, that is vision for investment. Usually the ophthalmologists give vision to others, but today our speakers have really given vision to ophthalmologists today. That is the vision for investment. Second, I would like to thank all the participants, all the VOS members and other members who have really participated and joined today's webinar despite this late night schedule. And lastly, I would like to thank all the Intold Pharma and their team. We have really coordinated very nicely for today's webinar. Thank you and good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Parag sir. Thank you, Manish sir. And thank you, Prachi madam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yes.